Hey guys, welcome to the Cult of Pharmacy podcast. All right, where we're helping pharmacy technicians and pharmacy professionals all over the world. Listen, I have a super special guest for you today. We're going to be talking about some awesome stuff. I'm excited to introduce you to her, wonderful young lady, and she has wonderful information to share, not just from a national perspective, okay, but also from a international perspective. All right, so we're going to get into this interview. I do want to introduce myself. I am your host, Onisha Biggs of Pharmacy Tech Lessons, and this is the Cult of Pharmacy podcast. Let's go ahead and get into it. I want to introduce our guest here, Mrs. Reem. How are you today?
Hi.
How's it going?
Hi, thanks so much for the
Hey.
introduction, Onisha. I'm so proud of the work that you do. So happy to be here today and to meet everyone, although I can't see them. But hi, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. And okay, so my name is Reem, and I'm a fifth year pharmacy student. So the last year pharmacy student, and I'm here to share everything about my path, about how it is different from the US and everything. And I'm also here to share my study tips and everything that you want, really.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. So, okay, you're located in Egypt. That's like, wow. Okay, because in the States, we hear a lot about Egypt. Like when I think about Egypt, I'm just gonna be honest. I think it's a very cool place from what I've seen, like pyramids and all. We're thinking about all of like the sightseeing and stuff. So like tell us a little bit about Egypt. Like even right now, how's the weather in Egypt? I'm just curious to know.
Okay, right now it had actually started to become a little cold, but it was for a long time actually kind of tolerable. Like we would see snow everywhere and we were not feeling it at all. It was kind of summer, in Egypt. It stays quite hot for a bit and then it goes like full 180 and it becomes really cold. But again, we have a very low tolerance for cold, so I might be a little biased here. It's still not as cold as other places. We never see snow. We never see any of that, I really want to go out in the snow and like see everything white around me, and just experience this cold feeling.
Cool.
Maybe for a short while, because I won't stand that. It would be really difficult for me.
Absolutely. But, you know what? I never thought that it would have gotten cold in Egypt. I never associated the two. I guess you always think about desert, sand, because that's what we see in the media. That's what we typically see. Like, so I never would have thought like it gets super cold like that in Egypt. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
In the media, actually, it's kind of portrayed in this kind of desert, camels everywhere, and that's kind of true. But in a very small area in Egypt, it's only in Cairo and in Giza. So it's in Giza, actually, Giza pyramids. It's in a town. It's not everywhere in the world. So in Egypt, it's a normal place. We have streets, we have buildings, we have billboards everywhere. Like it's not that place that is portrayed in the media. So it's kind of really, I'll give it that. But it's normal for the most part. We have schools, we have buildings, corporate life, and that's mostly in Cairo, where I am from. Cairo is the capital. So
Cairo is the so you live in the capital
as it is portrayed in the media. Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. That's next level. Like she's all the way in Egypt, y'all. All the way in Egypt. So let's get into this whole pharmacy path and journey. So
sure.
You're currently a pharmacy student, correct?
Yes, correct.
So tell me, like, how did you decide, being in Cairo, Egypt, like your upbringing, how did you decide like you wanted to get into pharmacy, period?
Okay, so first when I was in school, like a normal kid, I first went to a private school. So we studied curriculum in English. So we study everything like social studies, we study language, and then with science, but everything was in English because our main language, like my first language, is Arabic. So we have both options open. You can study in Arabic and then you can study in English, but for English, you have to go to the extra mile and kind of pay to get into a private school. So that's what my parents did, really, and got me into a private school first. And I started studying science. As a kid, I was so interested in it. I loved English and everything. I loved language, but I also loved science especially, and I felt gravitation towards it. And I didn't love the other subjects like the literature and social studies and everything. It was just a lot for me, so I didn't like that at all. So I knew I would go down the path of studying science, and I would go to college and I would study something science related, but I didn't know what it was. So in the last year, you usually just go down the route of becoming, a high school student and everything, and you become more specialized as you grow as a student. So you specialize first in, you either go down the path of literature or the path of sciences. So sciences also includes both math and science, so biology and chemistry and everything, and just
Right.
calculus and the other mathematical things. And the rest of the people go down the history and psychology and all of those things. So I didn't choose that. I chose science. And then further down the road, the last year of pharmacy, the last year of high school, you have to go to this kind of examination that is a big deal here in Egypt. It's like the GCSEs in the UK. It's written down about in the newspaper. It's everywhere. People anticipate it, and that's because they qualify you for college. So, or university, I don't know what you call it, but college is when you graduate, you have the certificate and you become a professional. So that's why it's a big deal, because if you do well, you go into a good college, and if you don't do well, you just kind of you either repeat it, which nobody does really because it's a lot of work, or you go into the college that you're sorted into without, doing anything about it. So I knew that I
That's
had to.
interesting. That's
Yeah, you
interesting.
don't really have a choice, really.
Wait, so in college over there, you're like because you use this word, you said sorted.
Yeah,
So you're
sorted.
telling me that it's like you're on a that's crazy. So it's kind of sounds like an assembly line
Well, let
almost.
me.
Like
Yeah,
you're
it's
on a
like that,
line and
but
just getting
you
sorted.
kind of have a choice. No, yeah, it's ridiculous a little bit, but when it's like that, it sounds like we don't have any choice, but we do a little bit. So when you're studying, you have to score the best score ever, unlock every college there is. So you unlock medicine, you unlock pharmacy, unlock dentistry when you get the best grade. But if you're lucky that this year, the year that you get the results, the college not have a high, demand, and it will lower its grade of requirement. So medicine sometimes takes about 90%, 98% as a score that you need to have 98% to get in. Sometimes it even gets to 99% because the grades system here in Egypt is in percent. So that's why. So you have to do in your examination really well to unlock certain colleges, and then you get a choice. So you just write down your choices in a list and send that to the government basically, just to make sure that you choose well. Like, I want medicine, and then if I don't get medicine, I will get pharmacy. If you don't get pharmacy, I get something else. And if
So
you
wait,
don't want the
let me
same,
make
like
sure I
if you don't want
understand
to
this,
rank
what
it
you're saying.
by the,
You have to literally
yeah.
submit your request to your government on like what you want to study.
Uh, no, it's like you just take the examinations, and according to your grade, you get into the school. It's pretty similar to everywhere in the world, but if you want to go into a governmental college, you kind of have to do
Oh,
the
governmental college.
government
I'm
route.
with you.
Yeah,
Okay, makes
there's
sense.
yeah,
Got it.
because there's also private college, like there is governmental
Uh-huh.
school. There's
Uh-huh.
a private school. That's all we have here. So for a
Right.
private college, you have to pay a lot. So like in the US, you pay a ridiculous amount of money. So
Yeah.
here we also have that. It's a lot. But if you want to go to governmental school, which is way cheaper, it's way cheaper, but it is reputable, and it's known over the world. And if you want to get a scholarship, a lot of people know about, for example, I go to Cairo University, and Cairo University is known abroad. So, and it's accredited, and it's reputable. So you work really hard to get in there. So that's what I did. I really worked hard to get where I am today and to get into Cairo University. And it is a faculty of pharmacy, Cairo University. So I go to the pharmacy branch of Cairo University. You know what I mean? So it has different colleges under the name of Cairo University, and it differs in the majors. So, and the courses that you take. So in faculty of pharmacy, I studied organic chemistry. I studied analytical chemistry in the first year. So it prepares you to being a pharmacist, but you're still not studying pharmacology and all of the good stuff like that you'll need as a pharmacist. You study just basic sciences, and then you start becoming like, you become familiar with other subjects like pharmacology and just clinical pharmacy and being in a hospital and being in a community pharmacy. So that becomes later on, maybe in the third year. That's why we have a large, a longer program of pharmacy, because for you guys, I heard that you have to go to college first and major in certain things and then get into becoming a pharmacist, which doesn't require a lot of
Mhm.
years. Here we have like 5 years of becoming a pharmacist, because we kind of, collide them all in one thing, and you both become familiar with the basic sciences and then become a pharmacist, and then you graduate becoming a registered pharmacist.
Yeah. So yeah, for sure. Over here, it is like that. Some programs they are moving more towards a mesh. So they are kind of moving more. Typically, before it was like, yeah, 4 years, you get your bachelor's, then you're moving into more advanced profession. They call them professional degree,
Oh,
of being a pharmacist, or more advanced degree. But now,
oh,
actually, they
that was
are
really
moving.
confusing for me.
Say that
That was
again.
confusing to me because that was really confusing to me because we take bachelor's and become a pharmacist at the same time, so we choose our
Yes.
profession.
Right,
Yes,
right, right.
that's the
Yeah,
difference. That's why I was really confused.
exactly. And so now they are doing, a lot of programs are developing more towards a mesh. I call it like meshing it together, like similar to what you guys do,
Mm.
to where now you do 2 years of what they call prerequisites. Or so they are like those basic courses like organic chemistry, chemistry 2, physics. And then after the 2 years, now you go into
Mm.
your track plan on the actual being a pharmacist. You start learning that material, the more specifics like the pharmacology and
Oh,
all of that. So some programs are doing it, but the overall, I'd
right.
say over 80% are doing it the way that I told you before. 4 years, then you go for your professional degree. So that is a big difference over
Oh, so
there.
how long does it take to become an actual pharmacist there in the US, like the professional degree?
The average track plan, so once you do your 4 years, it takes you 4 years to get a bachelor. Some people do it sooner though. Some people do it in 3. And then
Mm.
after that, you're going to pharmacy school. That's another 4. Some programs are less than
Oh,
that. They are having programs that are a lot quicker, but the typical, like the status quo, is like 4 years, 4 years. Yeah,
oh, okay, that makes a
yeah.
lot of sense now.
Mm-hmm. So with that, that's an interesting journey that you say. I'm hearing a lot of things that you're saying, and it's really sticking out to me. So you decided that you like science, okay? I
Yeah.
know in America, all right, women in science is like that's like a big deal, you know? So like, how is it over there for you? I know you say you had to work hard, science is not easy. All right.
It is not.
Becoming a pharmacist, that's not easy. But how did you navigate that? Like, what were some of the pitfalls, some of the harder things for you on your plan to becoming a pharmacist and a woman that's in science in general?
Okay, so a lot of people here in Egypt actually kind of go into science and study a lot of science related things. And a lot of women here also go to medical school. That's not the
Interesting.
way. Although it's not as cool, like you're not as, kind of feminine like the other women, it's all right.
Right.
We deal with that. We've been dealing with that for a long time, and it's really getting boring. We're already over that. So if you get into science, you're less cool, you're less feminine, whatever. I don't care. And then really don't care about what people say. Science is science. Science explains what is happening around you. I'm interested in it, and I don't care what people call me or say. So I'm proud of that, and I'm proud of everyone that pursues science, because I honestly think it's a noble thing. So I pursued science, even though my friends from school didn't. No one went down that path, but that's okay. Like, I went on it on my own. And I studied really hard. I put in so many hours. Like, I wouldn't even go on the internet. I wouldn't do anything of that. When last year of high school, as I told you, we go to the qualifying examinations. So it was an entire year of studying. And then at the end of it, you take the finals. And after the finals, you get sorted into the college that you want.
Sorted.
So So I had to work really hard, and it was so stressful. I paid a lot for on courses and private, lessons, and then I studied on my own. And I couldn't find a lot of friends because all of my friends from school were not taking the same courses as I
Mm.
was. So they were just on their own. We couldn't merge, and I made a lot of acquaintances from different places as the year progressed. But then they're no longer with me today, and I don't know what happened to them really. But we're just, it's a whole journey. It's a long journey actually. But when I got to pharmacy school, I got to know a lot of people, also like-minded people. But even in pharmacy school, we're not the same, don't have the same goal. Not everyone wants to become, like, as you said, a woman in science. Some people just want to work in a community pharmacy, and that's okay for them, and that's completely valid. They just don't want to do like a whole experiment, or like a whole groundbreaking discovery. They just want to work as a pharmacist in the community and help the people around them.
Right.
But for me, actually, I am looking forward to becoming, as you said, a woman in science, and kind of get a lot of discoveries done, and and understanding the information that I can get.
That's huge. That's huge. That's amazing. I believe you're going to do it too. So
Thank you.
let me ask you this. When you see yourself in the future, because our audience, I think this is going to be very good audience for you guys to really see like vision and what's really her driving force. Because to be on this path that you've been on, Rim, is it's pretty tough. I know over here in the States, becoming a pharmacist is not for the faint in heart. Okay, it's serious,
Yeah,
Reem. So
I heard.
yeah. So let me ask you, when you see yourself, you talked about making discoveries, you talked about like really progressing in your field. Sounds like you want to become a pharmacist and even more, like make world impact. What do you see yourself like discovering?
Yeah.
Like what I want to say, like, what avenues of discovery are we talking about? Are we talking about medicines? Are we talking about, like, what are we talking about when we
Mm.
talk about discovery?
Well, as of now, I've been trying to learn and gather information so that I can put them into practice when I graduate. And so far, I've been getting the best grades. So I'm hoping that I can become a researcher afterwards, like when
Mm.
I graduate, and even better, like receive training abroad and kind of broaden my horizon as a pharmacist and as a scientist. Really, go down that path, and really just furthering my information knowledge better, and get a lot of insights from people all around the world. That would be great. But then about the discovery that I was talking about, when we're pharmacists, so our field is making medications and making advances in people's lives and making them uh, in less pain, basically. So that's what really motivates
Mm.
me, seeing a lot of people not being able to recover from things that seem very frivolous. Some people really live their whole life trying to battle a disease that, if we have a medicine for it, that would have ended. They could have lived a better life, and they could have went on and studied and did things that they loved, even if they don't choose to study, just have a fulfilling life. And I feel like it's a failing on our part a little bit when I see a lot of people suffering. It's 2021 now, and we must really find better medications. And even the medication that we have, we still have a lot of drawbacks. So um, we have a lot of room for more scientists and people that come along and find a lot of solutions. So that's what I'm trying to come, really.
I got you. So yeah, so seeing people in pain and seeing people deal with like chronic illnesses over a long period of time is like a real motivating factor for you. Because I don't hear a lot of pharmacists say.
Yeah.
Typically over here, I hear pharmacists, people who are becoming pharmacists or want to be aspiring. I hear a lot of them say, I want to be a pharmacist, or I just want to work in retail, or I just want to work at the hospital. But it's very rare that I
Yeah,
hear
that's
a
what I was telling you.
pharmacist say, I want to discover, or I want to be a part of new discoveries and research in pharmacy. So that's like a whole nother mindset and a whole nother avenue that I don't think a lot of people know about, and it's very good that you're exposing them to it right now. That there are more avenues in pharmacy than just
Yeah,
retail, than just the typical hospital pharmacy. There's also research. There's
yeah, that's right.
also other clinical avenues that one can go into.
Yeah,
I think
research,
that's
like
pretty
really.
awesome that you pointed that out. Really, really cool. So
Thank you.
let's talk a little bit about, you know, some of the value that you give, because I mean, people are hearing all about you as a aspiring researcher. I call you an aspiring world changer. Okay, because
Oh my God,
of
thank
like
you.
what you want to discover. But as a student in pharmacy, someone who has worked very hard, but you also add value to students as well, correct?
I think that becoming a student is really difficult, and just being a student is one part of being a pharmacist. You have to go through it, but no one tells you how difficult it is to become a student in pharmacy. It's so difficult because you study really dense subjects, and you have to manage it yourself because professors only explain the information, but they don't help you manage your time, and don't tell you a lot really. You just have to do the work on your own, and that's the whole
Yeah,
thing. Being in college or university, you just have to manage the whole thing on your own. You
yeah,
just receive information from them, they help you understand it, but then if you don't understand, it's on you. You just have to go to office hours. If you don't understand, look online. So it's on you. Everything is on you, so it's really difficult. So when I realized that, I felt like there was a gap, like on the internet. There was a gap in the internet because when I was looking for help online, I only found medical students and dentistry students, nursing students. I couldn't find any pharmacy students because I don't know why. Like, there are not many pharmacy students on YouTube. So I felt like I could actually make videos for people like me and people that need help in this exact specific area. So I started to make, fiddle with it and kind of do like study with me videos at first, to test it. And I found a lot of people like that. People just wanted to know that there are other students studying everywhere, and they're not the only ones that are sticking their noses into books and being all studious, and they want other people to join them. So I started to make more study with me videos, and they received a lot of positive feedback. And then I started to make videos sharing the tips that I learned. If I found a better way to memorize, to study, I would just film myself talking to people and telling them about it.
okay,
And then I started getting emails and messages from students everywhere in the world. They would tell me like, hey, I'm struggling with this responsibility. And also, like, I don't know, everyone has their own path, but I'm trying to make it easier, and I'm trying to give them help. And I always reply to them because I really want to offer help, and I want more students to become better and to just also like protect their mental health and become better students in general, all rounded, not just academically. So I try to help as much as I can, really. So, and I find the internet to be very helpful in that.
got it, got it, got it. That's listen. The internet has been a game changer. It's been a game changer, for
Yeah.
sure. And that's pretty amazing that you noticed that gap because of your experience. It sounds literally just like what happened with me, and what motivates myself and my team every day when we're working with students in the pharmacy tech space, is that there are just a lot of gaps in the education and in the learning that students aren't getting. And so the fact that
Mm.
you noticed that, and you started to be able to guide and help them navigate that is super duper awesome. So like on a common level, or on a common day, what are like some of the things that you hear students say all the time when it comes to like them going or progressing
All
through
the time.
pharmacy
Okay.
school?
They find it overwhelming. That's one thing that a lot of people say. It's overwhelming and it's taking a toll on their mental health. They either have to
Wow.
stay awake all the time to study, just compromise on their basic needs just to be able to finish studying something. And it's not only in pharmacy school. I've noticed this in many fields, but pharmacy school specifically, because we have to study a lot of things and memorize them. How could you do that without really prioritizing studying and just kind of, you know, taking off other things like not going to the gym or not sleeping well. And I try to
Mm,
emphasize that by not engaging in the other activities that make you happy and make you a better person, you'll not give your all to studying actually. So what you're trying to do is give your all to studying, but you're actually doing something counterproductive by not taking care of yourself and nurturing yourself. And I was there too. Like, I'm not speaking to them as, I know everything and they don't.
right.
Like, I've been one of them, and I sometimes even fall, and we remind each other like it's okay when something gets too stressful,
Hmm.
it's very likely that you will drop, working out, you'll drop a better sleep. But one thing that I
Yeah.
always remind people of when I make videos is that that's okay. We're human. We're just human. Yeah, it's okay to forget things. We can memorize. We can revise. That's okay. If we do badly on an exam, we can learn from our mistakes and then move forward. Because sometimes we get too stuck, and some people even get hurt, like really hurt because of studying. And it shouldn't take that much of you know a weight on your shoulders, really, because it's just studying. You're trying to be a better person, you're trying to help people. Just try to remind yourself of the big goal and the big picture, and you'll do great. But also remind yourself that you're human, and that's okay to fall short sometimes. And it's not actually falling short, it's just being human. So yeah, it's a nice reminder. I wish someone had told me that before.
Yeah, yeah, because it takes a lot of the pressure off. I can see that. I can see what you're saying. And that's a thing that I notice with a lot of students too. Even people who are going to pharmacy school or professional school in general, it's just like a lot of
Mm,
pressure, a lot of just pressure, mental pressure on themselves,
yes.
whether it be for family reasons or, just wanting to achieve that will to achieve. It can create a lot of pressure. So I love what you're saying, when it comes to taking the load off or the pressure off. I think that's really, really awesome. That's really, really awesome. Not being so pressured on yourself. So what advice would you give a student who just feels like, you know what, Reem, I feel so just bogged down. Like I need to know what to do on a day-to-day basis. Like what would you tell them to do, or what were some things you would tell them to stop doing in their daily activities, as they're going through pharmacy school and as they're going through this process?
Okay, so on the day-to-day basis, as I said, just remind themselves that they're human. That's the first thing that they have to do, basically,
Love
just
it.
do that. But then after that, they have to be persistent. So they have to put in the effort daily, because you will not see results if you're inconsistent. You will see things that you wouldn't like. You'll feel like, hey, I've been studying for so long, but I didn't get the results that I wanted. But just because you are not consistent with the work. Some days we wake up not motivated. And some people just say, okay, I'm not motivated, I'm not going to study, and they go back to bed, which is not the right attitude, really. Just acknowledge that you're not motivated. Okay, you're not going to be motivated every day. That happens to me a lot. But I remind myself of that big goal. Like, I want to become a certified pharmacist. I want to be able to work and help my community. And that far overweighs any of the unmotivation that I feel. So I just get up and try to study. Even if I'm not feeling really well, I try to make the setup welcoming, and I try to make it better for myself. Like, I listen to some background music. I try to um, help someone with their studying, and that also gives me my motivation to study as well. And kind of cultivate the motivation for yourself. Don't wait for it to come. And every day you wake up, you try to study at least a small chunk, like one piece of paper. Just try to study a little bit, and even if you don't feel like it's adequate or it's adding up, it will add up one day, and you will thank yourself so much for being able to put in the effort consistently. One thing that I noticed that actually gives you results is to be consistent and to be persistent and not give up. So even if you're not feeling well, just get up and study even a little bit, and you'll thank yourself later.
I love that. Listen, guys, she just literally gave you the whole game. Okay. She just gave you, I heard so many tips and things that I'm even going to take notes on, because it's consistent across the board. Guys, success leaves clues. And like Reem, you just said a mouthful. I heard you say, first of all, you're human. That's the first thing. All right. So take the pressure off when it comes to the
Yeah.
studying. But then I also heard you say that you keep your goals ahead of you to motivate you every day, because it's true. Every day we don't wake up motivated or like, whew, I'm ready to go. So that's the human part. Like every day you don't wake up saying, I don't wake up every day saying, you know what? Wow, I'm just so ready to go. I'm so supercharged. But the biggest takeaway that I got from that, what you just said, was
Yeah.
the mindset. It all, like the first thing that you
Mm.
laid, the foundation was your mind. Started here. You didn't throw out a bunch of like study tactics and all those different things that a lot of people typically look for, which those are great, but you started with the mindset. And that's the thing that really stuck out to me, is that your mindset is what's going to drive you all the way to the end, to becoming that pharmacist, to becoming that pharmacy tech, to becoming that world changer, world leader, whatever you want to become. It starts in the
That's
mind.
right.
So that's like, whew, that's super duper awesome. So
Okay.
if you're that person, if you're that person out here and you're saying, hey, I'm bogged down, take notes on what she just said. Break that down. Be very specific in that, because like you just said a mouthful. I'm telling you. I just gleaned a lot from what you said. So let me ask you this. In your opinion, what would you recommend? Let's say there's another Reem out there who
Okay.
who she's like, she's sitting in class somewhere. She's not enjoying the subjects that she's learning. She's interested in, I call you a world changer. I just don't know why I
Thank
just
you so
stay right
much.
there. I just call you like aspiring world changer. But she wants to do big things like in science or in the world of pharmacy. All right. What what would you say to her? What would you say to that Reem?
Okay. So she's not really enjoying the class that she's in, right?
Correct.
She's struggling basically, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. Because okay. Well, I would really give her a lot of advice because I have grown a lot from moments like this because I have went through that the same as Reem went through, you know. I've been through a lot of boring lectures. That's okay. I went through a lot of, you know, subjects that were really, really difficult for me to understand because I'm not like, you know, naturally super smart. No one is like that. Everyone works really hard for what they have. So I had to find a way to understand the topic. So I look online, I look in the library, I ask my professor, and if I don't get the answer, I look everywhere else. I ask my friends and my colleagues. I don't stop until I learn because I know this information will be something that I will use in the future. And if I don't understand it and I may get a good grade even. But if I kind of not understand a lot of information in university, even though it seems frivolous, and if you made it without understanding, you will just kind of struggle later on. This information will come up somewhere when you're working, when you're maybe if you become a researcher, even that would be really difficult for you because you have to understand the topic at hand. So I make sure that I understand even though it's really difficult. So some material comes smoothly and you can sit in the lecture and understand everything, but some other days you're just not having it and things are really difficult. So I look for help and extra help, and I accept that it's going to be the day that I struggle, and that's okay. And I ask as I said, look online for help and don't give up. And that advice that I would give to the other Reem is just because you're having a bad day doesn't mean that your entire life is over and that you will not become a good pharmacist. That's not true. That the professor that is speaking to you right now was in your place one day, and they weren't, you know, the smartest, and they weren't just understanding everything. They even say that, and I really appreciate when they tell us their stories because they just let us know that they were normal students like us, and that gives us a lot of motivation, really. So everyone has been at a difficult place, and they get out of it, and what you do with it is what determines your future. So your action really matters a lot, how will receive your.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Reem, I love it. So I love that. Guys, I wanted to really resonate with you, what she just said. Just because you're struggling today in a class, in whatever doesn't mean that you're going to always struggle, and it doesn't mean that you're going to be struggling tomorrow.
100%.
All right.
100%.
So you just have to go through the process, do your due diligence, and know that when you do your part and you stick to the process, in the end, it'll all work out. I love that, Reem. Man, you placed that so very well. I'm motivated. I'm motivated by you. Thank you for sharing about your experience and really enriching the audience and the space today. Guys, if you have questions,
Thank you so much.
put it in the comments. Okay, if you have questions, put it in the comments for Ms. Reem or even for myself. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and allow Ms. Reem to share. Where can you be found? Where can people find you, Reem?
Okay, I am on YouTube. That's the main place that I'm at because I make a lot of videos when I have the time, really, because I'm always, busy with school and stuff.
Yeah, you're over there studying and stuff.
Yeah. But I make study videos and I make study tips, and I actually have a new video coming live today. So you can just type in Reem Study with me, or you can find my channel name called Reminiscence. So reminiscence, but with a double E because, my name is Reem. So you can find my channel on YouTube, and then you can from there find my blog as well. So I both write and make videos, and I just wish you all the best, really.
All right, guys. So you heard it there from Reem. Remember, just because you're struggling today doesn't mean you're going to be struggling tomorrow. All right. So this has been Onisha Biggs of the Code of Pharmacy podcast, where we're bringing you value every single week from awesome people like Ms. Reem. Talk with you
Thank you.
guys soon, and we're going to wrap it up.